The 2017 Mercedes-Benz GLE-Class. Now, this is a mid-size luxury crossover that looks great inside and out, but when you start digging a little deeper, it may not be competitive enough against the likes of the BMW X5 and the Porsche Cayenne. I'm Jay, and welcome to this latest episode of CarBuzz Unboxing Reviews. I want to thank Mercedes-Benz of Sacramento for letting us come on down and film today. So yes, the GLE-Class, a few things you need to know about it before I go into more detail is that, for starters, it used to be called the M-Class, but that was changed in 2015. The reason being, well, there were a couple of reasons, one of which is that BMW's M division kind of objected to other automakers using the M letter in the names, and they were kind of concerned with, for an example, say if this was called the M350, BMW was afraid that people would confuse the M350 with the BMW M3 sedan. I really don't see how that confusion could happen, considering this is a midsize luxury crossover and the M3 is a high-performance sedan, but whatever. Mercedes-Benz went ahead and changed the whole naming scheme. Mercedes-Benz also wanted to change all of its SUVs and crossovers to 3 letters instead of just one letter like M-Class or G-Class, but the G-Class is still the one exception today. Now, when this car's ancestor, again, the M-Class, that car first launched in 1997, and that was actually a very revolutionary vehicle at the time. And what was interesting is that the first generation M-Class, it was built on a body-on-frame chassis, and the second and third generation car, which is the one you see here, they're both on a unibody chassis. So the body-on-frame chassis, again, it's better for off-roading, but Mercedes-Benz realized, well, people really weren't using them for off-roading as much, and the unibody chassis would work just fine. In fact, the Jeep Grand Cherokee is also built on a unibody chassis. But what was interesting is that the M-Class, it was really the first luxury SUV aside from Range Rovers and Land Rovers. For example, the Lincoln Navigator was just being launched at that time. Same with the first generation Cadillac Escalade. A luxury SUV was still a very new thing. In fact, the first generation M-Class was the first luxury SUV to have electronic stability control. Kind of interesting. So let's talk about this interior design here. Now, as you can see, yeah, it's covered in black trim, black leather. I think it looks nice. But something else you need to remember here is that this third generation GLE, well, M-Class, whatever you prefer to call it so that you're not too confused. It came out in 2011 and it was updated in 2015, and for 2017 there really aren't any significant changes. So the point being is that you're going to see some signs of this vehicle's age, because remember, this is already about 6 or 7 year old vehicle. And as I mentioned, this is a mid-size crossover, meaning it has 2 rows of seats only. There is no third row seat option. If you want a third or a 3-row crossover SUV from Mercedes-Benz, you're going to have to upgrade to the GLS. And speaking of which, I just want to go over with you real fast what the Mercedes-Benz SUVs and crossover lineup is. The entry level is the GLA, followed by the GLC. Then you have the GLE, the midsize, and then you have the full-size GLS, followed by, again, the off-road demon icon G-Class, or the G-Wagen. Now, there's also, this just came out, the GLE Coupe, and that was featured in Jurassic World just last year. And the GLE Coupe, literally the same as this, but it has more coupe-like styling. It competes directly against the BMW X6. So this interior design here, now again, this is very nice. It's very straightforward. I don't think it's quite as modern looking as some more new vehicles out there. For an example, Audi just launched a brand new Q5 at Paris a couple months ago, and that car's interior looks spectacular. But Mercedes-Benz did equip the GLE350 here with this touchpad, along with a rotary dial that controls the 8-inch display screen. Now, I mentioned this in previous reviews of new Mercedes-Benz's. I don't really like that touchpad. It's kind of cool with the technology. Again, it works a lot like a tablet, but when you're driving a vehicle, it's not very easy just to kind of use your fingers to point and squeeze and expand the touch screen, or rather the display screen, using that touchpad. I think the rotary dial works much, much better, and we're already used to rotary dials on the center console to control these display screens. Anyway, even Mazda uses them today, so they've become really standard. But take a look at this here. You have this nice dual zone climate control. That's pretty much a standard thing these days. But the overall dashboard layout, it looks a little old in my opinion. It doesn't break any new styling ground despite the recent update. Aside from looking, again, a bit aged, overall the controls work just fine. Now, this car comes standard, of course, with quite a number of nice luxury features. You have heated front seats, power front seats with driver lumbar support. Like I mentioned, the dual-zone automatic climate control, flat folding second row rear seat. That's pretty standard too, as well as a cargo cover. Now, some options we got in this tester here is a Harman Kardon surround sound system for $850. And the rear seat entertainment area is already pre-wired if you want to go ahead and put in an aftermarket system or something that Mercedes-Benz offers. That costs an extra $170 too. And this car was also equipped with the premium package for $3,050. And what you get with that is an upgraded version of the COMAND system with navigation map updates for 3 years, Sirius XM traffic and weather services, 115-volt AC outlet in the second row, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capability, and also in terms of safety, lane keeping assist and blind spot assistance. And overall, this is a very comfortable vehicle. I have actually failed to actually be in a Mercedes-Benz that I did not find comfortable. You have to remember, Mercedes-Benz compared to Audi, BMW, is a little more conservative. They don't take as many chances, especially with styling, and they're all about comfort, and they have very loyal buyers. And if it's not a comfortable Mercedes-Benz, those so-called loyal buyers might consider moving to the competition. Oh yeah, power moonroof, that's standard. Pretty nice. I would like to see a panoramic sunroof here, but oh well. So let's talk safety here. Again, I always say this, is that cars today, any new car, they have to meet very strict government regulations in terms of safety, whether it's in Europe or North America, as well as China. So new cars today are really not at all not safe. This one here comes standard with a rear view camera, advanced airbag system, anti-theft alarm system, electronic stability control, ABS brakes, brake assist system, active brake assist, and crosswind assist. Now, it also comes with the parking assistance package for an extra $1,290. And what you get with that is parking pilot and a surround view system. And that's all about, it's kind of a small step towards autonomous driving. While you have that 360-degree camera, the surround view system, just so that you can see everything that's going on outside of the vehicle. And the parking pilot just makes getting parallel parking even easier. And yes, for the record, I do think one day in the not too distant future, cars are going to pretty much be driving themselves. But that's another story entirely. So how does this thing drive? Well, I have to say, it's very comfortable. And because it's no longer a body-on-frame chassis, meaning that's essentially a truck chassis, it has a very smooth ride. Acceleration is fantastic. Mercedes-Benz built some great engines. I don't think anyone's going to really complain about the ride quality here. And what's cool is that this particular model has a towing capacity of 7,200 pounds. Again, Mercedes-Benz knows its customers. They drive or they own speedboats or some jet skis, stuff like that, and they need to be able to tow that to their cottage. An overall rear seat space, it's very comfortable. I don't think 3 adults should be in the rear seat for too long of time. It will get uncomfortable for sure. But 2 adults back here, absolutely not a problem. And yes, we're doing this now. We're tossing in a child car seat here. I shouldn't probably say the word tossing, but yeah, I want to give you an idea of the overall amount of space in relation to the car seat. And of course, you have an electronic lift gate here. Again, that's pretty standard now too. And I like this. There's a lot of cargo space here. With the rear seats folded up, it's 38.2 cubic feet. And when they're folded down, it's 80.3 cubic feet. That's more than enough space, I think, for most people. I know some people never think they can get enough cargo space. Not a problem. You have the Mercedes-Benz GLS. But let me tell you about that GLS. It is very, very expensive because, well, the GLE right here is already very expensive. And this is nice. Just how the second row seats fold flat. Very, very easy to do. And for the record, this is the GLE350 4MATIC. Now, the GLE350, it is the base model in the GLE lineup with the base engine. And 4MATIC is Mercedes-Benz speak for all-wheel drive. But I'll get to the engine and transmission details in just a moment here. And if we only had a couple of suitcases like this, we definitely would not need to fold it down that second row there. But I just want to give you an idea of how much space there really is. So here's that engine. Let's talk about this. Now, this is a 3.5-liter bi-turbo V6 engine. 302 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. It's paired to a 7-speed automatic, which, again, it sends power to all four wheels. 4MATIC all-wheel drive. Now, the all-wheel drive, it is an extra $2,400. And I think that's a worthwhile investment, especially if you live in parts of the country where you get snow, rough winters, heavy rains. For an extra $2,400, look, you're already buying Mercedes-Benz. It's expensive. Why not? All right, yeah, Mercedes-Benz, they build fantastic engines. They sound great. This one, you're going to go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 7.5 seconds. Top speed is electronically limited to 132 miles per hour. Fuel economy, 18 miles per gallon in the city, 22 on the highway, and a combined 19. Vehicle weighs just under 5,000 pounds. And I like this front end, right in that the Mercedes star there. That is actually, it illuminates at night, just like part of the headlight cluster there, and it's really cool. It costs an extra $550, but I would totally go for it. Oh, and these are the 20-inch 5-spoke alloy wheels. 19-inch wheels are standard, but these cost an extra $750. The exterior is painted, well, we call it polar white, which is, it's white. You also have brushed aluminum running boards. Those cost an extra $670. Roof rails, LED daytime running lights. You saw that power liftgate, as well as privacy glass. And I like this styling here. It's nice. It's very much in line with Mercedes-Benz's latest styling language, which means it's softer and it's more elegant than it was a few years ago. If you recall, they were getting a little edgy, kind of squaring off some of the lines, and I really didn't like it. But this new front end it's quite nice, in my opinion. So what's some of the competition here? Well, as I mentioned earlier, you have the Porsche Cayenne, the brand new Maserati Levante, the BMW X5. I would also toss in there the Audi Q5 and the Infiniti QX70. Now, all of those vehicles are expensive. The Infiniti QX70 is probably one of the cheapest, beginning at $47,000. Now, this one here, the GLE350, okay, that is the base model. So the base price of that, without any extra features, is $52,000. Not at all unreasonable, but again, it's a German automaker. Once you start adding on packages, such as the premium package, which costs $3,000 here, it gets expensive very, very fast. Now, the GLE350 4MATIC, again, 4MATIC all-wheel drive, that begins at $54,500. Now, this car here, with its extra features I told you about, combined with a $925 destination fee, grand total, $63,640. Yeah, I think that's pretty expensive, but again, people who go to buy Mercedes-Benzes, they're prepared to pay for them, so I don't think they're going to complain, because they're getting a great mid-size luxury crossover here. Now, I also want to go over with you some of the other trims you can get. The GLE400, that begins at $65,000. You get a 3-liter bi-turbo V6 with 329 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. There's also the GLE550E 4MATIC, which is a plug-in hybrid for $66,000, beginning 3-liter bi-turbo V6, combined with an electric motor. But then you have the AMG models, such as the AMG GLE63, beginning at $100,000, but you get a hand-built 5.5-liter bi-turbo V8 with 550 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. Still not good enough? No problem. AMG GLE63S, beginning at $109,000, same engine as the GLE63, but has got 577 horsepower and 561 pound-feet of kick. Yeah, so you could easily spend well over $100,000 on a GLE-Class, but I think this one, even at $63,000, is still fairly well priced. So what do I like here? Well, the styling inside out is much better than before, and yeah, you have great engines to choose from. What don't I like? The handling, well, it's not always the best, especially for something that used to be a real off-roader. This is not so much anymore. I don't think the refresh, especially just the way the vehicle works, it wasn't enough. You can still tell this vehicle is dated, and I think a complete redesign is going to happen pretty soon. But what's also really cool about this is that it's built in Alabama. Yeah, state of Alabama, and it has been for the past 18 years or so, beginning with the first generation M-Class in 1997. But I'm out of time for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Any more questions for me, just leave them in the comment section below. And be sure to subscribe to the CarBuzz Unboxing YouTube channel. So until my next review, I'll see you all next time.